Trucks, The Legend of Beverly Joe Breece. Written and narrated by David E. Swerbrick. Video copyright Mousegate Press, 2019. Dedicated to truck drivers wherever you go.
About the book. The Oil Cup 400, the crown jewel race in the Fast Truck Series, has always been known to be one of the most competitive competitions in the Trucks Series season tour. Being the first race in the chase to the championship, tensions sometimes run high as teams strenuously work to be the one that puts their names and number in the books as the winner of the highest paying purse and the largest trophy in the history of stock truck racing. From all over the globe, trucks with their teams come to qualify for a chance at the power and glory that comes with winning the 400-mile scrimmage to the checkered flag. Every year, spectators, young and old, come from all corners of the world to witness one of, if not the, greatest spectacles in all of motorsports. Time and time again, history proves that the 400 can be exceedingly challenging to trucks and teams. Engines can fail, tires can falter, transmissions can go out, bodies can grow weary, and injuries from accidents will most certainly happen. Often called a race of sheer endurance, and one that only the toughest trucks survive, seldom does the underdog set the pace for the grueling 200-lapper, let alone does a virtually unknown beat the top teams and secure themselves a second-place starting spot. However, at one magical point in time, an unlikely entry and not a high favorite to win did just that. Tearing up the track, Beverly Joe Breece sped her way along the 2-mile oval, and she kicked the door open, securing a position that put her and her team ahead of some of the sport's strongest trucks. What a memorial and exciting day it was when Beverly clinched her place and raced against some of the biggest names and well-seasoned teams who have ever run the event. It was a time where some went home empty-handed, some were victorious, others were defeated, and some set the stage for wonderful things to come. It was a day where legends were made. Now let's drop those window nets, climb inside, strap yourselves in, and read about how one truck defied the odds, gave it her utmost best, and became forever known as the Ford that nearly did it all. Beverly Joe Breece. About the book. The Oil Cup 400, the crown jewel race in the Fast Truck Series, has always been known to be one of the most competitive competitions in the Trucks Series season tour. Being the first race in the chase to the championship, tensions sometimes run high as teams strenuously work to be the one that puts their names and number in the books as the winner of the highest paying purse and the largest trophy in the history of stock truck racing. From all over the globe, trucks with their teams come to qualify for a chance at the power and glory that comes with winning the 400-mile scrimmage to the checkered flag. Every year, spectators, young and old, come from all corners of the world to witness one of, if not the, greatest spectacles in all of motorsports. Time and time again, history proves that the 400 can be exceedingly challenging to trucks and teams. Engines can fail, tires can falter, transmissions can go out, bodies can grow weary, and injuries from accidents will most certainly happen. Often called a race of sheer endurance, and one that only the toughest trucks survive, seldom does the underdog set the pace for the grueling 200-lapper, let alone does a virtually unknown beat the top teams and secure themselves a second-place starting spot. However, at one magical point in time, an unlikely entry and not a high favorite to win did just that. Tearing up the track, Beverly Joe Breece sped her way along the 2-mile oval, and she kicked the door open, securing a position that put her and her team ahead of some of the sport's strongest trucks. What a memorial and exciting day it was when Beverly clinched her place and raced against some of the biggest names and well-seasoned teams who have ever run the event. It was a time where some went home empty-handed, some were victorious, others were defeated, and some set the stage for wonderful things to come. It was a day where legends were made. Now let's drop those window nets, climb inside, strap yourselves in, and read about how one truck defied the odds, gave it her utmost best, and became forever known as the Ford that nearly did it all. Beveraly Joe Breece. Prologue. The Fast Truck Series, known throughout the land as the toughest racing organization around, has never failed nor fell short of bringing one of the most exhilarating spectacles of racing in all of motorsports to every track on the circuit it visits. In all the years of the attraction's popularity, fame, and glory, every season has always been exciting, memorable, and rarely disappointing to anyone. On Sunday afternoons, trucks, teams, and fans alike gather together and partake in the making of history. Each event stands out as its own unique experience, ones that tickle the minds of all who've seen or heard them. Occasionally, there are some that stand out more than others. One particular time was when Beveraly Joe Breece blasted her way in, knocked the door down, and nearly did it all. Setting the pace for the underdog to take over, she put her name in the books and inspired people everywhere. I sincerely hope you enjoy this title. Have fun reading! David E. Swarbrick. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, race fans of all ages, put on your helmets and fire suits, open this book, climb inside, and strap yourselves in, because the story of the Oil Cup 400 and the chase to the season championship is about to begin. Filled with high-speed straightaways and lightning-quick corners, the legend of Beveraly Joe Breece is surely a tale that will have your foot to the floor, your pistons pumping, and your tires spinning. So, what are you waiting for? Come on! Yippee yippee yay! Let's grab the green flag and go racing! Start your engines! The Oil Cup 400. On the morning of the opening race for the Truck Series season, the weather was warm, sunny, and bright. All of the major contenders and their crews had shown up for pre-race inspection, a chance to qualify and win the most prestigious race of the Truck Series, the Oil Cup 400. Fans of all ages from all over the globe flocked to and tuned in with their friends and families to the world-famous track in Texas to see and hear their favorite truck compete for the largest purse in motorsports. What an exciting day it was going to be! After all the trucks passed inspection and qualified, the stage was set for what was to be the greatest competitive race in the history of the sport. Hale Danhard, the number 22 truck, and a 5-time winner of the 400, had won the Borshoard pole, and the number 42, number 9, flathead V8 Ford pickup, Beveraly Joe Breece, was starting second. It was the first time a female truck of that style had ever made it into the series and qualified so high. With a speed of 198.7 miles per hour, Beveraly had set a new record for females and trucks of her era. How did she do it?
Hard work and an awesome team and loads of determination.
Was her response. When the pace truck dropped off and the green flag fell, tensions were high, and the 200-lap race for the checkered flag was on. Yippee yippee yay! Let's go racing! Shortly after the race went green, the number 22, Hale Danhard, raced Beveraly hard and took the lead. The number 90, Cole Wickley, moved into second. Dale Beck, the 000, slid into third, and Beveraly dropped to fourth. For the first 66-lap segment of the race, Danhard dominated and set the pace for the 24-truck field. It appeared as though he was going to win the segment and take the flag for bonus points. Then on the last lap, the number 90 and the 000 challenged Danhard 3 wide for the lead. The 000 went high, the 90 went low, and Beveraly came charging in from behind, bringing the rest of the field with her, and they were coming fast. Cole, Hale, and Dale rubbed and banged together. Beveraly stuck close on Hale's bumper. Dale, Hale, and Cole continued to bump and bang. Then, just seconds before the checkered flag waved, Hale cut a tire, got loose, spun up the track, and took Dale out with him. Beveraly blasted through the middle and rubbed Cole. Cole spun down the track into the grass, and Beverly charged on with the rest of the field hot on her tail to win the first segment. Fans in the stands, in the field, at their homes, and by their radio stood and cheered for Beverly. Beverly's pit crew joyfully hollered and slapped hands. Woo! The crew chief yelled into his headset, "That's the way to get it done, Bev. Now let's get ready to pit."
I've got you, Beverly replied. After I catch up the pace truck and they bring us around, I'll be in.
Beverly's crew quickly focused and got ready for her. After her pit stop, Beverly left pit road, came out in 10th place, and filed in with the rest of the field behind the pace truck. The number 84 truck, Buck Bradley, in second, and Paul Jones, the number 52 truck, in first, led the rest of the field around behind the pace truck. A four-time series champion, Paul Jones was and is known to be one of the most aggressive trucks in the sport. Taking the lead from him is never an easy task. As the pace truck rolled off the track, the trucks rumbled along and quickly approached the restart zone. In the zone, Buck throttled down and Paul followed suit. The two trucks launched and they began to shoot forward out of the zone with the rest following. Buck immediately pulled ahead and Paul abruptly slowed without warning. A launching truck plowed into the back of Paul and a pileup commenced. 7 trucks ran into one another. The yellow flag quickly came out and Beverly barely scraped through. Slight contact with the number 30 truck, Mike Bryan, caved in her front right fender and shredded her front right tire. Paul called over the radio to his crew, "Sorry about that, guys. My transmission wouldn't shift. I think the gears broke." "That's all right," Paul's crew chief replied. "We'll get them next week." As the caution flag waved, track crews carefully cleaned up debris and removed wreckage from the 2-mile oval. Trucks still on the lead lap came into the pits for tires, adjustments, and fuel. Beverly's crew worked swiftly on pulling out her caved-in fender. Once the fender was pulled out, the crew hurried, did a 4-tire change, topped her off with gas, and sent her on her way. 3 other trucks involved in the incident were also able to repair minor damage and head back out onto the field. Leading the now 16-truck field around behind the pace truck, Buck Bradley, the number 84 being the first out of the pits, took over the number 1 spot. Next to him in the second slot, Darren Green, the number 32 rookie truck from Italy, and the number 55 truck, Ken Connolly, in third. Due to her lengthy stop, Beverly had dropped all the way back to the 13th spot. "That's all right," Beverly's crew chief radioed to her. "We've got plenty of laps to catch up. Settle in, and after the green flag falls, try to pace yourself for a few. We need to see how good our repairs were."
Roger that, Beverly responded back to the chief.
Soon the crews got the track cleaned up. The pace truck led the field around for one more lap. The green flag fell, and the second 66-lap stage of the race was back underway. Wow! The number 32 truck, Darren Green, shot ahead of Buck Bradley on the restart and immediately took over the lead. Oh, and look at the number 9. She's flying through the field. In only half a lap, Beverly has gone from 13th spot to 6th place, and she's showing no signs of letting up. Beverly's crew chief radioed her. "Hey, Bev, what happened to pacing yourself?"
I feel great, Beverly replied, so I don't see a need to. Uh-oh.
"What's wrong?" the chief asked.
I think I've got a left rear tire going down, Beverly responded. I'm coming in.
Easing her throttle back and downshifting her gearbox, Beverly carefully dropped off the pace, slowed to the apron of the track, and headed to pit road. Her team readied themselves, watched for her, and swiftly hopped into action when she arrived at her pit stall. Darren Green continued to lead the field. Buck Bradley had fallen to third, and Owen Eugene was running second. Owen was slowly closing the gap between him and the number 32 truck. Beverly's crew worked like lightning on changing her left rear tire and getting her back out onto the race. The field was coming fast. Once finished, Beverly had to hurry down pit road without speeding, and she needed to get onto the track before she went a lap down. The lead truck was setting a record pace, and second place was gaining fast. Darren caught Beverly as she hit the track. He tried to pass her and put her a lap down. Beverly raced him hard. They bumped, they banged. Darren spun, and the yellow flag waved for the second wreck caution of the day. "Woo!" Beverly's crew chief called out through his headset while her team all danced around and slapped hands. "Nice way to hold him off, Bev. Now let's make our way back to the front."
Roger that, Beverly responded. I'll surely give it our best.
During the caution, the number 32 truck, Darren Green was the only one to pit. Darren flat spotted all 4 of his tires in the spin, and he was in dire need of 4 more. His crew quickly changed the tires, splashed him off with fuel, made no adjustments, and sent him on his way. Darren and Beverly would be starting side by side at the rear of the lead lap trucks. Soon, the pace truck rolled off the track, the green flag fell, and the trucks were back to racing. Owen Eugene, the number 81, got the jump on Buck Bradley, and he held on to the lead for half a lap. Buck raced as hard as he could to take the lead from Owen, but the third-place truck, Smitty Wells, the sinister red and black number 1, throttled up, and he side-drafted Buck. Smitty passed Bradley like he was standing still, and he began to chase down Owen for first. Back in the pack, Beverly and Darren were charging through the field, passing trucks one by one, rapidly making their way back towards the front. Man, look at Beverly and Darren go. Those two look like they're driving on rails. As the laps in the segment wound down, Beverly and Darren soon found themselves running third and fourth. Smitty had gotten the lead from Owen, and Buck fell back to fifth. All the front runners continued to set a record pace. Beverly had her sights on winning the second stage and gaining the extra bonus points. Driving hard, she chased down Owen and easily made the pass for second. Owen could plainly see that Beverly was the faster truck, so he didn't put up much of a fight for the spot. Following suit, Darren, the number 32, drove up on Owen, but he just couldn't get the momentum he needed to make the pass. It was obvious to Darren that Owen was the faster truck, and he had used up most of his tires while racing back to the front. So, Darren decided to fall in line behind Owen, ride along in fourth, and keep an eye out for any changes on the 81 truck. Meanwhile, towards the front, Beverly continued to keep the hammer down and stay in pursuit of the number 1 spot. The final laps of the segment were starting to wind down, and Beverly was beginning to catch the number 1 truck, Smitty Wells. Smitty was fast, and he had quite a substantial lead over the rest of the field. He had come up on lapped traffic and started to pass the slower trucks. But while putting them a lap or two down, Smitty's speed slightly fell, and Beverly started to gain more and more ground. She made her way through the traffic and continued to reel Smitty in. On the final lap, 1 truck stood between Beverly and the number 1, Whitey Brown, the number 61. It was time for her to make her move. "Go, Bev, go!" fans all over cheered. In the last turn before the finish line, Beverly dove to the inside to pass Whitey, and Smitty came down from the top to block. Whitey got loose and slightly got into the back of the number 9 as she made her pass. Beverly immediately spun up the track, bumped Smitty as he was coming down to block, and the two of them spun all the way down the track to the finish line. Fans everywhere were on their feet for the dramatic finish. Beverly caught the finish line with her rear bumper just before the right front fender of the number 1 hit the line. Only by a couple of inches and a fraction of a second, Beverly won the second segment and took home extra bonus points. Her team and fans everywhere cheered, "Yeah!" Beverly's crew chief yelled and radioed to her, "What a finish! That's number 2, girl. Now let's go for 3.
Hey, roger that, Beverly responded. We just might sweep this whole thing.
Beverly made it out 7th, and the number 1, Smitty Wells, got out before all the other trucks. He was back in first. Riding in second again was Owen Eugene, third was Buck Bradley, fourth was Darren Green, and in the 5th position was the number 41 truck, Willie Sam. Riding next to Beverly in the 6th spot was the 17 truck, Norm Bentley. The number 8, Doug Jensen, the number 52, Al Hartman, the number 99, Jeff Mack, and the number 13, Mel Shaft, rounded out the rest of the lead lap trucks. On the restart, Owen got the jump on the number 1 and took the lead for the first 10 laps. Beverly quickly moved up to 4th spot and passed Buck Bradley for 3rd. She was really on the move. Shortly after the 10th lap, Smitty Wells caught up to Owen, eased around him, and took back first place. All the trucks were racing hard. Completely focused, Beverly set her sights on 2nd, and she moved in behind Owen. Riding close and drafting on his rear bumper for a few laps and working together, Beverly and the number 81 reeled Smitty in and caught up to him. Smitty, Owen and Beverly drafted together for numerous laps and quickly separated themselves from the rest of the field. Rocketing around the track at nearly 200 miles per hour, the three of them patiently cruised along and tried to predict each other's next step. Beverly stuck tight behind Owen and thought,
"It's time to make your move, girl."
Breaking out of the draft, Beverly gave it all she had. She went low, pulled next to Owen, and side drafted him. Owen slowed, fell back, and Beverly went to make her move on Smitty. Just then the caution came out. The number 8 truck, Doug Jensen, cut a tire and spun down off the track into the grass. "I'm all right," Doug radioed his crew. "Just got a little push. That's probably why the tire went down. I'll be in shortly." "Roger," Doug's chief responded. "We'll be ready when you get here." During the caution, pit road filled with loads of activity. All the lead lap trucks pitted, got 4 tires, filled with fuel, and made minor adjustments. Smitty Wells had the fastest pit time, and he got back out first again. Beverly fell in 5th place behind Buck Bradley, Darren Green, and Al Hartman. 6th through 11th were Owen Eugene, Norm Bentley, Mel Schaff, Jeff Mack, Willie Sam, and Doug Jensen. Soon after the green flag fell and the trucks were back to racing, on the restart, Beverly quickly passed the 4th and 3rd place trucks. She dominated the spot behind Hartman for the remaining laps of the race. It would be Smitty Wells, Hartman, and Breece drafting together, leading and pulling away again from the rest of the field. Those trucks were really moving. On the last few laps, it looked as though Beverly was going to get the lead from Wells. She managed to take over the 2nd spot, and on the final lap, Beverly set her sights on him. Only seconds away from the checkered flag, she made her move on the number 1. The number 1 got loose, the two of them banged together, and they both spun while Hartman drove through and took the checkered flag. Woo! What a dramatic finish! Hartman won the race, and Beverly spun across the line, finishing 2nd. Fans everywhere stood and cheered for Hartman in the 1942 pickup that slid and finished behind him. The Oil Cup 400 that year was surely one that history will remember. It was the start for an eventful season for the number 9 team. Beverly went on to win 5 races, 6 more second-place finishes, and numerous top 5s. It ended up being the closest points battle ever. Beverly beat out Smitty Wells by only 10 points, and she was the first female truck to ever win the championship.
About the author. David Swarbrick is 42 years old. He's a full-time writer and a part-time theoretical physicist. He lives in a small house on the coast of Lake Huron. He has a wife and a son. In his spare time, he creates music and studies astronomy. Other books written by David Swarbrick. Trucks 2. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, race fans of all ages, put on your helmets and fire suits, open this book, climb inside, and strap yourselves in, because the story of the Oil Cup 400 and the chase to the season championship is about to begin. Filled with high-speed straightaways and lightning-quick corners, the legend of Beverly Joe Breece is surely a tale that will have your foot to the floor, your pistons pumping, and your tires spinning. So what are you waiting for? Come on! Yippee yippee yay! Let's grab the green flag and go racing! The Happy Root Beer. Every day, boys and girls come into the store to buy Happy Root Beer. One day, all the root beer bottles were all bought up. Yet nobody seems to want to buy Mr. Root Beer. This makes him really sad. Who will come along and help him solve his problem? Join new author David Swarbrick in helping Mr. Root Bear find a new friend to help overcome his loneliness. Boats. Buckle up, motorsports fans. Put on your life preservers, raise your anchors, and hop inside this book. Now behold, known as one of the toughest and most exciting ranges in the Fast Boat series, the Bay Blaster Shootout is about to begin. Packed with tight turns, lightning-fast straightaways, enormous rocks, and the greatest excitement throughout the land and season boating. An unforeseeable change. The story of Norman Lee Brown is a short story based loosely on my own personal experiences and careful observation of everyday things that continually take place around me. Narrated by me, the author, it shows and tells in a very straightforward manner the profound truths about what can actually happen to kids, dreams, families, and society when teenagers experiment with drugs. Meant for most ages, it should make you laugh, cry, think, and hopefully, most of all, it will educate you. Now, I know that some of you at this moment who are reading are probably thinking or saying to yourselves, oh, whoop-de-doo, another book written by an angry old man about substance abuse, in which it was only created for the specific intent to target younger generations. Boring. They're all the same. And how many times has it been done?